How you doing, guys? I'm Sean. Welcome to Rambles with my camera. Guys, today's video, I'm going to be talking about a very sensitive topic here in the photography community, so to speak. Now, it's about, should we as photographers be taking photographs of the homeless or those begging or rough sleepers, those from the shelters who's in the streets? And should we as photographers be taking their photographs? Now, this video here came about as a result. I watched Chuck Jones' video last week there, and he was talking about the same thing. He put a photograph up and he was talking about the story behind the photograph, and I actually agree with a lot of what Chuck said in that video there. And the following day, the Saturday, I was in Dublin, and I came across this scene here of the homeless family on the street, and I had to think about taking the photograph or not. And that's what this video is going to be about. It's going to give you my views on whether we as photographers should be taking photographs of homeless or not. I'm going to give you the fors and the against, and I'm hoping that it's going to make you think about your own views on it. And if you happen to say, no photographs been taken of the homeless, maybe to get you to think of maybe, yes, it is okay to take photographs of homeless, or if you happen to feel, taking photographs, maybe I'm going to say something, maybe make you think that it's wrong to take photographs, because I'm going to give you both sides here. Right, so basically my view is quite simple, but simple as simple can be in my terms. If that person's homeless or begging in the street or doing whatever, first and foremost, the fact of the matter is, if they're in a public place, if you're, depending on where you're living, what country you're living in, if the public place, we have every right to take their photograph. Okay, they're no different from any other member of the public. So if they're in a public place, if you happen to be in a country, you're allowed to take photographs of the public in a public place, then you have every right, if you want to take it. But sometimes, because the law says it's right to take a photograph of something, or the law says it's right to do X, Y, Z, doesn't necessarily make it right. Sure, some countries are that 12-year-old girls can be married and things like that. There are some countries that the women are treated like second-class citizens and abused, and the government think it's okay. So just because the law says something's okay doesn't necessarily mean it's okay. But it's up to us to get inside our own minds and think about something, and actually really put thought into our photography and why we photograph someone, why we photograph a certain way, but why we're actually going to photograph that person who's homeless. Now you see, there's different, why I won't take a photograph of a homeless person, someone who's begging. It's just like Chuck says, he doesn't like taking a photograph of somebody's face on if he has to get their permission. I've photographed a lot of homeless and a lot of people who's on a tough enough section of journey through alcohol and drug abuse in parks and things like that, and I've always built up a rapport with them and took a photograph. They knew that I wasn't doing it just to say, oh, look at this person here. I was there to document what I saw in a particular section of my journey through life. And this is no different. This photograph here, this is 2016, and we've got a family here, and although you can see the partner, the husband and wife, or boyfriend and girlfriend, and the dog, and you can see the two prams. Now it's possible the prams is to just wheel about the contents of their stuff. But if you look up in the handle of the pram just behind it, the gent land there is a first aid kit bag, but also just above it, there's a child's toy, a rattle. There, and I don't know what the past was, what the story was, what their journey is. But something has caused them to be on this section of road, sleeping on the main street in Dublin, O'Connell Street, not too far away from banks and the high-rise shopping centres. And I think that's sad, and it's not sad in a patronising way, but it's sad that a family, even his husband and things like that, are having to sleep on the streets. And a lot of people would want to airbrush that out of society. They want to airbrush it out of, oh, don't take a photographs of it, push them down the street, get them off, because like 5 minutes after I took that photograph, the police came and woke them up and moved them on. And I never seen if there was children involved in it, and there may not be children involved in it. But to me, it's just such a powerful photograph. And initially when I saw it, the first thing I saw was his bedroom slippers, his carpet slippers, Americans would call. And one shoe on, one shoe off, and the bare foot. The dog sleeping, everybody's sleeping. It's almost as if like some sleeping gas, but it was a powerful image. But because my thought was, oh, I could see his face, possibly her face, maybe not take the photograph, and I walked slightly up a street and I said to myself, no, hold on a second. There's something special about that photograph. And I went back and I took this frame and I took one more frame just from a slightly angle to cut out the reflection in the glass. But this is the first frame, and this is the one that I think is very powerful. This is what I saw with my eye. And the more you're looking at it, the more you're seeing, because if you think about what we're witnessing here, we're witnessing, there's a guy wearing bedroom slippers, carpet slippers, house slippers, but on the street. But that's his home, that's her home, that's a dog's home, and if there's children there, the children's home. And it sort of knocked me for six a bit, because and I don't know how it makes you feel when you see it. Does it make you feel like, oh, it's sad? Does it make you feel like, oh, you know, it shouldn't be shown, you shouldn't have took that photograph? But for me, I'm seeing something that shouldn't be happening in 2016. There's always been homelessness, there's always been people, for whatever reason, has been out of no home, financial situation. I nearly got my own home repossessed about 12, 13 years ago, within hours, days possibly, at the best, of getting repossessed and getting out and getting evicted. But the fact of the matter is that, and I've slept in enough people's, you know, spare rooms as a result of not having an actual home to go to, but I've been fortunate enough never to have to sleep on the streets. But I certainly know what poverty's like. But I'm looking at these people, I'm not looking down at them, I'm not trying to patronise, I'm not trying to think, but I'm thinking that this is sad, 2016, that a family should be on the street. And I think what I've always taught photography, I've always said we're capturing as photographers, we're capturing the present so those in the future can look back at the past. The problem is if we're starting to airbrush out certain things in our photography, certain things in our street photography, certain things in our social environment, that we start airbrushing it out, then we're doing an injustice here for what, as photographers, for people in the future to look back at 2016, to turn around and say, in this era, this is the way the people wore their clothes, the way they drove their cars, what type of cars they had, their homes, and their homelessness, drug abuse, violence, you know, demonstrations. If we start airbrushing certain sections of that out because it's not politically correct, then what future is there for us as photographers, and more importantly, what future is there for the people in the future to look back at the past? Now, when I'm taking photographs, I don't make fun of people. I don't take a photograph, or there's somebody there's homeless, I'm going to take a photograph of that. Oh look, like 2 weeks ago, and I left that comment on Chuck's video, when I was walking down the same street, there was a guy who was, there was outside a fast food joint, and there was one of them metal stands, one of them metal like advertising boards, and he had his arms around it like that, and he was holding it. It's almost as if he had his arm around his girlfriend or boyfriend, and his head was up against it, and he was sleeping, and you could see all these meals, I don't know, $5 meals. And to me, as soon as I saw it, I thought it was a great photograph. And then my mind snapped right until there's a homeless person or somebody's down on their luck, clearly visible. And how would you as a viewer perceive that photograph if I printed it? Technically, it would have been a great photograph in the context of what it was. It could have been used in a way to actually, to actually promote, you know, the need to actually help people and address the fact that we still have people sleeping on the streets and hungry, starving throughout the world, but even in their own cities and streets. But I didn't take that photograph, and that's how I left a comment on Chuck's video, and then the following day I seen this photograph. Do I regret taking it? Not at all. I think it's a great photograph, and great not in the context of the ego, but great that I'm showing something here that's happening here in Ireland, in the capital of Ireland, in Dublin, and it's happening in villages and towns and cities throughout the world, so this is not unique. And as a photographer, I'm showing it, and I'm saying, do you know what? If anybody wants to look at that photograph and judge them people or feel pity on them, I think we should be feeling pity on ourselves, that our governments and society didn't have some sort of, you know, safety mechanism to help people who get down on their luck at any section of the road, and they can actually find help before it gets to this stage. And if they are in this stage, and let's have the resources there to get them from this and until the next section of road, but hopefully that his feet will be on carpet in a home rather than out in a dirty, filthy street. And I don't know what your views are. My views is quite simple. If you're going to take photographs of anybody, irrespective if they're homeless, down on their luck, or just people in the public, you know, don't be doing it just to make fun of them. Do it because you've got a photograph there, you're witnessing something and you're taking it. But when it comes into should we not take a photograph just simply because it's a homeless person, then I don't agree with that at all. But don't be making fun of them. Don't be just grabbing a grab shot because it's easy, because you're too intimidated to photograph other people who are walking about and who might approach you and actually have words with you. And if you're going to be giving money or giving food or clothes and things like that, do it from a place of your heart because you genuinely you hope that that's going to help them in this section of road. Don't do it in a place as if you're better than them. I'm no better than them guys are. There's no question about it. I'm no better than them guys are. I might have a roof over my head and I might have access to certain money, but I don't know, what's going on in their mind. But they also don't know what else is a pressure going on in this. There could be a bank manager walking down the street with a suit and they could be sitting looking at them, but homeless people could be looking at them saying, look at that person. Big swanky car, a big suit and a big phone and but they don't know that that person's just coming back to get the house repossessed or getting bank, or the woman walking down the street who doesn't give them any money, maybe looking at them and saying, look at her, doesn't want to give us money, but she's gone home to get beaten by her husband, or the young person being abused by their father or their mother or their uncle. You know what I mean? So because don't be looking at anybody in life as if you're better than them or things like that. We're just all in different sections of journey. The sad thing is that these people here got no home, but they might have so much more than I've got in my life. They could be enriched with so many other positive things in their lives. So I've took that photograph and I stand over it. I think it's a powerful photograph. I wish them well with it, and I hope that some good can come out of this photograph. Maybe even yourself to think more about when you're taking photographs. If you are taking photographs of homeless people, maybe consider that they're not just there for us just willy-nilly as photographers to grab a shot. Maybe put a bit of thought in. Is there a way that you could help the person, or is your photograph going to help them or hinder them? Is it going to make them look good or bad? And start to put more thought into photography. Guys, leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think, and let me know your thoughts about this photograph, this video. Give the video a like, share it if you can, because more people can start to get this debate going, then maybe we can start to having a genuine debate and we can move forward on it, rather than this just, no, you don't. You either belong to, yes, take a photograph, you can take photographs of homeless, or you're in the camp that, no, you can't. Well, I'm in both. Just don't be taking the photographs just willy-nilly to make fun of them. But yes, you certainly have a right to take the photographs, and I think we owe it to not only them and this people in this generation, but the future generations to realise what society is all about in 2016 and beyond. Guys, send you love from Ireland, and thanks again for watching.